So I want to bring it back.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. It's cool because I think this is really good. It's really good content. It's really good, really understanding the foundations of who we are. I think just retapping on the subject, which the subject was about individualism in relationship and can it exist. Yes. So I think what we've established is it can.
Definitely.
Right. But I think what we did was we gave background, but we didn't give, present day things that we understand about ourselves. So in relationship, what I can say is I am very much an individual. I actually said to one of my good friends recently that I'm too free for these niggas. Like I literally
I feel
said
the
that.
same way.
Because I don't want to be contained.
I'm too free for these women, not these niggas.
Yeah. But I really feel like that. Like sometimes I be feeling like, I don't want to be contained. Like, of course I know that there will be a leader over my life, but I don't want anybody trying to mute me.
Yeah.
And so with me being an individual in relationship, what that looks like is I like to show the person who is trying to get to know me how I exist.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think there's anything that I should be hiding. Like I talk about the hard stuff first. For real, I'm very much that girl. Like because I want you to run now if this is gonna be scary to you. So I give all the hard stuff first. So I'll tell you about my darkest times, and then I'll see how you paddle back to the shore.
That's not the hard stuff though.
What's that?
Because if you bring that, a lot of men aren't looking at that. Like if we was on the first date, right, and you started telling me about all the negative things of your past and everything, that's how we're looking at it. Like it was in the past.
Yeah.
Like, is that who you are now?
Right.
And the reason they're giving that much benefit of the doubt is because if you're on a date with somebody or you're just, beginning stages of a relationship, you like that person, and naturally we don't want to see.
Right, that's true.
So it's we're easily discarding what you're telling us about that,
right.
Even if those kind of sentiments or whatever still lingers around. And so you kind of gotta wait. You gotta break a joker down, and then give them the hard stuff. Like,
but what you mean break them down?
So
though?
Not break them down, but get more into a relationship with him. Allow him to see more of really who you are.
Right. Okay. So yeah. So, and I guess that's something that I do practice as well. It's just like being that person that I am all the time anyway. Like I know that we always talk about the representative, and I do feel like that person gets the representative from each party, right? Obviously, you're going to give the person the best things that you can offer at that time because you're getting to know them and so forth and so on. So you don't want to treat them mean. You don't want to give them that like major attitude that you could possibly get because first of all, there's really no reason. Like we're in the honeymoon phase, so everything's really fun. And what, you give them attitude?
I mean, not attitude. I think that's a woman thing.
But like, there's no reason why I would give a man like off bucks like
not for no reason. So one thing, and this is probably childish.
Break it down, because
one thing Mo told me, right? He was like, a long time ago, he said this. He was like, man, you know how you know whether it's somebody you want to deal with? Say, make them mad early. Say, make them mad early and see how they respond. When they don't, make them mad when they don't like you. See how they respond. And I can say, I don't know if I should say this.
If you don't want to keep it,
Yeah. Well, my last relationship, like,
you did that.
No. But I wish I did. So she got mad later on in the relationship, and then it was like, damn it, I could have saved myself all this time if I would have made her mad.
Right, I should have in the first week.
Yeah, and I can't take this.
Oh my gosh, so. That's funny. And that's not at all how we think. Like for me, it's. But I also don't think that my attitude is the worst thing that you could ever get from me. And I don't think that a male's like a male or a man's anger is the worst thing that can happen to me either. I feel like you see those red flags. Like if he's a beater, you kind of know when he gets.
You're a different individual, and I don't want to give these niggas no hints. What? I don't want to give them no tips and everything.
Well, trust me, I'm able to see through because, we'll talk about the other part.
All right, cool.
But, because of what I don't do off bugs, I'm able to, like, those glaring things come through because you can't hide behind it. You know what I mean? And so.
But you said your attitude isn't your worst thing.
No.
I'm not going to share what your worst thing is because if they have to experience it themselves, they have to experience. I don't want to put them on to it. Nah, it's no. I don't need to. I don't need to.
You can share. But I don't mind.
The beautiful thing about you that I don't want to say like majority of women, but a lot of women don't have is that when you are bothered, you know, you're willing to address these things up front. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't let it linger for weeks and months and stack things up and then finally blow your top and then start spitting out, well, this. No man stands a chance against that.
Right. That's true. Like, and I think that the reason why I don't do that is because I've been in the situations where that's happened, mm-hmm. and it doesn't help. Like, you literally are trying to work backwards, and you could be during the time in which the thing is happening, you could be, you know, working through that instead of just continuously piling things on. And I also think that I don't do it because I don't like it done to me. Yeah. You know, more than anything, I don't like it done to me. But I'm also not afraid to have hard conversations in general.
That's it.
I think in growing up in business and having my own, you know, business and things like that, I think that I had to grow up really, really fast. So there was necessary. Course, right, between that age of 27 and 30. No, I'll say 32. I had very, very hard lessons that I had to learn just in, you know, business. Keeping up with entrepreneurship. Yeah. And entrepreneurship, you know, you can try to be friends and all this other stuff, but it just doesn't help. You know what I mean? If there's a purpose at hand, we have to get to that purpose. Like if this is point A, we have to get to point B.
That's my kind of talk right there.
I know. Yeah. I know it is too. But and I think that helped us with our friendship too, is learning those type of lessons. Like my emotions are valid, and that's mm-hmm. the feminine part of me. Mm-hmm. Like, and that's why I guess I'm able to hold relationships with both men and women. Mm-hmm. It's because I feel and understand the validity of your feelings, but I also realize that your feelings aren't going to propel us to that next level. Right. Like understand, value, feel, but realize that you are going to have to let those things go so mm-hmm. that we can get to that next step. You know what I mean? So
mm-hmm. I wanted to hit on feelings too. Not today, but I had something about
Write it down.
That was I got it.
Oh, you got it. Okay.
Yeah, it's up there.
But no, so back to the individualism, I am one who, you know, I don't crowd my man. Yeah. Like even in dating, I don't feel like it's something that I have to be on top of him every single day. Yeah. And so I don't like that in return.
I think that hurt me though.
That you weren't that way.
I'm still not that way.
Right, but you mean like as far as in a relationship,
especially my last one.
But I don't know that it necessarily hurt you more than you were just being you were being true to yourself.
Well,
and
it didn't hurt me. Out. It hurt that relationship. Right. Yeah, it hurt that situationship.
So let me ask you this then: do you think that do you think that that's something that you should have done, or was it important that you did exactly what you did because you were being true to who you are?
So I believe everything happens for a reason.
Agreed.
But I would say that would have been something that I should have done, like be more present, because that's what she desired. If I really wanted that relationship, mm-hmm. if I was like completely sold out, I was committed, but I can honestly say I wasn't all the way committed, because if I know that this is what is going to please her, this is what's going to help her overcome her anxieties or whatever it is that she may be dealing with, then I would have did it.
So that's what. So I guess that's really like the meat and potatoes of what I'm asking then is, and I understand that you're coming from a male perspective, like you're a man, so you're saying
as a provider, protector,
exactly, which I think is so super dope. Is that you were willing to, like, if it was a relationship that you were willing mm-hmm. to fight for, you were willing to go against then your own understanding. But at what point is that not okay? At what point do you have to recognize that then you are just doing something for the sake of who she is and you're not staying true to what you want?
I wouldn't do that. I would never do that in the early stages of a relationship again.
Okay.
So that's something that I would do, like, if we were married. Mm-hmm. Once we're already there and now this is what you need from me.
Right.
But what I'm not going to do is go into another relationship with a broken individual. With somebody who hasn't addressed their trauma, mm-hmm. or who isn't actively seeking healing, who isn't trying to actively grow and be better in those areas. Mm-hmm. Like, once I see the signs that this is who you are and this is who you like, this is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I'm jetting.
Agreed.
I'm not. Yeah.
And I think that sort of level of individualism that we both carry, that we both foster, I think that it magnifies really that brokenness. Mm-hmm. Because of the fact that there's no level of toxicity, that we are, demanding from that individual that kind of covers it up. To me, I feel like when you have these sort of like blaring needs and you want somebody to fulfill all of these voids and stuff like that, you have more of a tendency to look over, those things that are not cool. Yeah. Just because you need that void filled. And I think that that's where a lot of relationships suffer. And a lot of people lose their individualism is because they get so caught up in what that person, that need or that void that person is feeling, that they're willing to look over all that other stuff.
I think a lot of people, and I know a couple of men like this also, like don't have a sense of individualism.
True.
So like they find their identity in trying to be a man for a woman instead of being their individual selves.
That's what I just experienced. That was literally my last relationship. I was in a relationship with someone who was trying to be what he thought that I needed instead of being himself. And because I am an individual, because I have worked so hard being with myself, remember, kids, you are left alone with yourself every single day. Like unless you're trying to cover yourself up with, any sort of substance or any alcoholism or whatever. At the end of the day, even when you're done being drunk, right, you're left with yourself. I am with myself a lot. So I know who I am. So it's not possible for somebody who does not know themselves to be in a healthy relationship with me, because I'm going to be looking at them, and this is not saying that I am a perfect person, but I feel like I am a whole person because I've done so much of the work. I've done therapy. I've been broken. I'm recognizing the traumas that that have happened in my life. But at the end of the day, I was with somebody who was willing to overlook himself and his purpose and everything just so he could be the man that he thought that I needed him to be, when I never told him that that's what I wanted. Of course, I have goals in my life. Of course, there are things that I ask God for, right? And that's the husband, that's the kids, and, all this other stuff. And those are the things that I felt like he was like, oh, bet, then I'm just going to fulfill those things.
Yeah,
but what he doesn't
those
understand.
Are like tangible things.
Exactly. And he could have done it easily.
Yeah.
But I am not a person who is going to abuse you to get what I want.
Right.
And that's where it fell apart.
Yeah.
And
I think a lot of relationships do that, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
But because they're not looking past it, though. So they're not even recognizing that this person isn't an individual.
Right.
So because you're giving me what I want, I'm not recognizing that you're not whole. I'm not recognizing that you don't even know who you are. And we're under this facade that this relationship is working until it's not working anymore.
Yep.
And then we don't know what went wrong.
Yep.
And I think I have that same sense like you where, and we talked about this, and I think I got to do better with that also, because you told me that there shouldn't be a day where I don't talk to her.
Right.
And so I have my days where I might not talk to anybody, just be doing my thing and not think anything of it. But I guess being in a relationship, it's not gonna fly.
The reason why it doesn't fly, because I don't want you to think that it's not important for you to have that sort of level of individualism. The reason why it doesn't fly is because you are in a relationship, and at this point you are going to make tweaks to your life. Yeah. But if you told me, so if we were to, have a relationship, and this is maybe, years ago or whatever, before you really understood exactly who you were, but you knew that there were days where you didn't talk to anybody, I feel like that's a discussion that you have then. That's a discussion. That's like one of those precursors. That's one of those things where you have to let the person know, like, listen. And these are conversations that I've had with men that I've dated.
But look, I see posts all over Facebook and everything where women be like, if he miss a day, then he better not be mad when I'm entertaining somebody else.
So I'm not that girl. So I can't speak on those women who say that. But I do feel like those type of posts and things like that are really like like my friend Tiana says, that's protest behavior. That's me. Like, I'm just saying that because I want you to be mad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But really, you're not. Yeah. Because, I mean, women, the thing about us is there are some women, of course, there's exceptions to every rule. But the thing about us is a lot of time we're not just going to throw ourselves to the wolves. You know what I mean? Like, we want a connection.
Yeah.
We're looking for a vibe. Like, we're not looking for just, any old, raggedy, raggedy dude to just like fulfill, whatever.
Yeah.
If we do have a scratch, then we may get it. We do have an itch. We may get that scratch by somebody. But 9 times out of 10, the woman is going to go to somebody who she's already slept with. Yes. If that's the case, she's not going to go to a new man. So here we are. Then we got to start a conversation because, for real, in order for, that to work, this has to work. And that's just that.
Does
right?
it?
Well, this is not everybody, right. but a lot of women, I feel like there has to be like sort of that intimacy.
I only want that woman. Mm-hmm. I don't want the woman that don't need this to work.
Yeah,
for that to work.
You don't want it to just be like.
We good?
Just be like,
we good?
You good?
Ready?
You ready? Yeah, you don't want that. But I know that there are women out there who are like that. But again, those posts, like I said, those are usually the ones who are sick and tired of their nigga like not showing up, like not being there, and so forth and so on.
Yeah.
If there is a day that you go without talking to your woman, this is for those guys who are like AJ. First, there needs to be a conversation that you say before you even get into a deep relationship. Like, babe, there are just going to be days where I don't contact you. It won't be a string of days, though. And this is how I'm going to, I'm basically communicating with this. It's not going to be a bunch of days where I'm not going to talk to you.
Could women actually understand that, though?
But have you tried?
Yes. I told her that. So this is the thing,
Tell
right?
me.
When y'all really ask us, what are you thinking? And men say nothing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
we
times
don't understand.
You don't understand.
Mm-mm.
That's one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So women believe, I'm not generalizing women, but this is just what I see. A lot of them say, if you really love somebody, if you really care for somebody, you wouldn't go a day without talking to them. Mm-hmm. For some reason, that's just etched in their brain that if a man really loves you, he'll reach out every single day, or he'll something stupid like he'll send you flowers every now and then to work. Like that, to them, that means this guy really loves you. Mm-hmm. Just because he doesn't mean that he doesn't love you.
Right, agreed.
And the world doesn't revolve around you. Like, this guy's a human being also, and he has feelings and he has things that he goes through also. Mm-hmm. And me, myself, sometimes I take those days, even at work, people will be like, they might think I'm angry or something, but I'm not. I'm just zoned out. I'm having a mental day myself. Mm-hmm. And when I be having my mental days, I just hop on 95 and I just drive south for 3 or 4 hours and then drive back or something, just because I need that time. That might be one of those days where I don't speak to anybody.
So you're telling me, and this is not, I hope you remember, the direction in which you were going. So you're telling me that that's a conversation that you had with her prior to y'all becoming.
It wasn't prior to, but it was a conversation we had after it happened one time.
Okay.
But it's not enough though. Like,
it's not, because it's already, because at that point, and this is something I just learned again in my last relationship. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you come into a relationship with 2 different understandings of what that relationship is going to do and what it's going to give. With me and my ex, it was a matter of us understanding what commitment was. Yeah. For him, commitment was like, at this point, I'm just practicing to be your husband because that's what I'm going to be. Yeah. For me, commitment was, I'm not dating no other niggas. I'm not talking to no other niggas. Can't nobody bring me lunch. Like, can't nobody do the stuff that you would be doing because stuff. You are, I'm committing to you. So this is exclusivity at this point, but it's me getting to know you still. So there isn't that level of like, I'm already your wife, more than it's like, we're getting to that point. We're learning each other. We're becoming, fast friends, that sort of thing. That's my understanding. Mm-hmm. So with her, I feel like y'all were already, at a place, and maybe you started off talking to her every single day. Yeah. And that's another thing with us. Don't switch it up, because when you do, men are, because y'all are very, very, very like habitual people. Like, everything you do is a strategic, like sort of ritualistic. Forever. Right, but we see it though. We see it. We see how hot y'all come in. Like, y'all be coming in hot too. Good morning, beautiful. Good morning, gorgeous. All the topics and all this other stuff, and then you fizzle out.
Did you hold up? So, did you hear? I don't know if you watched Steve Harvey's interview, the Earn Your Leisure joint. He was talking about his second wife, Marjorie, right? Mm-hmm. How she changed his life for the better, of course. But after they got married and everything, she tried to change up his style and was like, you can't keep wearing these big suits and everything. He's like, well, hold up. I was wearing these big suits when you met me. She's like, yeah, I had to get you married first.
Yeah, it's true.
But y'all already, things changed. Everything changed. Like you.
Yeah,
now
but what
that you
she
got
did
me,
was she put him in a suit that fit right on him. This is not, but that's not to say he didn't wear suits though. She put him in a suit that fit him. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So more than the Good Morning Beautifuls, it should be Good Morning, maybe the nickname that you created for me. But what I'm saying is then be consistent with your good mornings. If you're going to, that's why I don't love those. I do not love a good morning text.
So if I miss one good morning text, it's a problem.
Not one, but when it starts becoming patchy, like we be like, what's happening?
Yeah,
like,
because you don't want it to get mundane when you use good morning.
I agree.
Because you're gonna run out of adjectives.
I don't feel like exactly. Yeah. But that's why I feel like you shouldn't start it in the first place. I do feel like you should hit the person who you're interested up every day, right? If that's something that you can keep up with.
But see, I don't want to be that guy because we ain't fake. I don't want to be that guy that just, hey, I'm just speaking so I don't go a day without talking to you.
I don't see nothing wrong with that.
You lying.
Okay, but you know me though. I'm one of those people where it's because that's just the person that I am though. I'm the type of person, if you're going to start something, then that's something that you should be consistent with. I'm like that myself. I don't feel like there should be, I don't have to good morning king, good morning, da 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 da. More than anything, I'm like responding then to your text. But if you start that way, you got to keep going.
See, like, we don't do that for us.
I know.
So
I know, but that's why if y'all are not doing it for you, then why do you stop? Because you were not doing it for you to begin with. You have to do it for us. You have to keep it up.
Fingers got tired. I gotta let my fingers rest.
No, that becomes problematic. And it's funny because
I get it.
Yeah, it's funny because me and my ex again, we had a conversation about, how I would think that his energy was off when he didn't send a good morning text
because he did often.
Yes, when the shit was good, you was in my inbox.
Or y'all jump straight to the negative.
I don't know, and I told him, and we talked about that too, like. It's not fair for me to assume that something is wrong because you don't say good morning, because maybe you just don't feel like it's a good morning.
That usually makes something wrong.
Yeah, it does. But it's also a conversation that we can have. And the funny thing is, I would say that, like, you good? Like,
yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, like, okay, then we've had a conversation. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we've talked about it. But if you have, and then there are things that you have to consider, like attachment styles and things like that, that with these women that you're talking to, there are a lot of women who struggle with abandonment. Men do too, but I'm talking about, the women who struggle with abandonment, who are dealing with men who are not being consistent, who one day act like,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, like
that is so hard.
It's hard,
that's hard,
and it's not a problem for you, but that's also something that you have to take into consideration when you are dating a woman.
But if she struggles with abandonment, it is hard for me. Like that's one thing. You would not be good for a woman who has abandonment issues, though. Not at all.
Because you're too. Not at all. One, you're too aloof. Like you said, you go for drives and you don't speak all day. Like that's not good for somebody who has abandonment.
Not at all. Not at all.
So
but that's part of my individualism. Like one thing, and this has changed now with Mo. When I met Mo, and how him and his wife, she didn't at first. Well, I don't know. But it didn't seem like it. But at first she wasn't tripping how sometimes we'd be out after Bible study. We'd be out till like 2 a.m. just talking and everything. Or sometimes like we might stay over his house. We'd be over his house, like spend the night over the junk. Downstairs just playing cards, just talking all night or whatever. And she never had a problem with it. Well, I ain't gonna say she never had a problem with it. I mean, of course there's a balance in a marriage or whatever. Cool. But she understood who her husband was. Yeah, she understood how he is. But then came a time where she was like, all right, can I have my husband back? And I respect that. Like, I ain't like, dang, my bad. I'm sorry for not considering you.
Yeah.
Like, my bad. This is your husband. Yeah. But she understood, like, he still has his freedom. Like, I don't believe in a relationship, like, y'all have to tell each other's whereabouts 100% of the time.
No, I agree.
Some people believe that like your location better be on and all that. Like, I'm not that guy at all. Like, you either gonna trust me or you ain't.
Yeah, I'm not that girl. So We would definitely. So part of this show, too, guys, is that we're going to ask your opinions because there are a lot of things that we agree on that we, we wouldn't, we don't understand the clocking. We can say that, like, we don't understand, like, where you at. If I'm asking where you at, that means that you told me at 12:30 that you was gonna be in my house in 30 minutes, and it's now 30 minutes later, and you're not there. Yeah, that's where I'm asking
justified.
you where you at. Yeah, because again, one of my love languages is quality time. So. What people do not understand about quality time, it is not quantity time. Quantity means the amount of times. Quality means the
value of the
value of it. So if you tell me that you're going to be here at a time, the quality in it is you meeting that time. Yeah. Anyway,
that's the beginning of the quality.
Thank you. I got you. And people miss that.
Yeah. Be punctual.
Yeah,
I got you.
So that's a teachable moment there. If you are with somebody whose love language is quality time, the quality is you. If you say you're going to be there at a time, be there at a time. It's easy. But going back to what were we just saying? We're talking about the
independence,
and then the wife, like
freedom.
Yeah. I do feel like there has to be that level of
respect for your relationship.
That's it, and knowing the person that you're with. Again, though, we're talking about people who there's abandonment issues. A lot of us live in our past, so we have issues with, being cheated on. Yeah. But that's not that other person's issue. So that's why I get why a lot of men are like, why do you hold me to the standard that you've created for the men of the past, the men you've dealt with?
Do you think our sense of individualism has anything to do with that? Because remember how we talk, like, whenever I go into a new relationship,
I don't carry
anything from the past relationship. It's not that I forget it, but it's almost like I forget it. It's like, whoever she was and how we did things back then, like I'm not. They don't have nothing to do. It's like a whole blank page.
I can't say that is the case because up until my last relationship was when I didn't carry anything over. Yeah. Because I just was determined not to. I wanted to do something different, so I decided, I'm gonna leave all that other stuff behind me. I'm not gonna hold him to the same standards as I held the other ones, or say that he's that type of man. I think simply it's just what I would need for myself that I govern my relationships. I feel like I can't ask for something that I'm not able to give. Yeah. So for me, because I need that space, because I require that space, that's something that I feel like I should be able to give that person. Right. And honestly, I'm not going to be in a relationship with somebody who I don't trust.
All right, so I want to say this. Because I don't know how long we've been going.
For too long?
Might
be a two-parter.
Yeah. I'll conclude my part of individualism with this, right?
Okay.
So I think our relationship works so well because we both are good at being our individual selves. And we both accept that from each other. And in a relationship, I think individualism is a must. And I think it's a must that I respect your individualism because I want you to be your best person.
Agreed.
Like, we won't have our best relationship if you can't be your best you and I can't be my best me, which means I would have to give you space. Like, there may be things that I could cultivate in this relationship that I could cultivate in you to help you out. And there may be things where I just might have to give you your space and let you figure it out, let you grow in that area just so we can have the best relationship we can have. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay, I mean, I get it. And some things that popped up in my mind was even how when you meet a person, they are their individual selves. That's almost what you fall for. Are they? Well, what you get is basically who that person is as an individual, even with their stuff, right? Because everybody has stuff. So when you then meld or become that other person, then you lose that individuality that you had that attracted that person. And when you start looking like me, like AJ, if you attach yourself to me and you start looking like Darah, I'm gonna be like, I don't need another one of me. Like, I like me as I am. I don't need you to be me.
It's enough of me.
Exactly. So that's when it starts to become hard because I'm feeling like I'm smothered. I feel like I'm suffocating and so forth and so on. Another way to look at it is say in marriage, right? You've been with this man for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. but now you don't understand who you are anymore as a woman, or you don't understand who you are anymore as a man. Who am I without him? Mm-hmm. And it's not something that I feel like I'm not promoting this. I'm not saying like, separate yourself from him, sis. Like, it's not that. It's just really being able to hone in on who you are as an individual and who you are existing in that relationship. So, the reason why it's important, this is the reason why I brought it up. The reason why it's important is because you remember you sent me that Tabitha Brown clip about how people are off changing in their relationship, within the relationship. Yeah. I feel like that's just their individual selves screaming out, or just creating those, spaces. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, when we change, that's the inevitability of being a human being, is that there is going to be change. If you are to maintain your individuality, then you're less susceptible to being mad at somebody for making that change. Like you said, the reason why we are so cool is because we've maintained our individuality. We know who we are as the person that we are, and we can come together without that judgment, because we know, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna be you gonna do you. I don't want you to be me. So I'm gonna love you for who you are and where you know what I mean? So I feel like that's something that we could practice, in long-term relationships, short-term relationships, just making sure that you recognize that person for who they are and not try to change them, not try to, make them something so that it benefits y'all relationship more than you respect them as an individual. So when they do change, in the relationship, y'all can become closer.
I want to ask you this.
Okay.
So for men, it's definitely not the case for us, but it's probably because we're men. We have a sense of leadership when it comes to relationships and households and such and such. Do you feel that a woman's sense of individualism is kind of like hindered or cut short a little bit when she becomes a wife or a girlfriend? Like, does identifying herself as such and such as wife, does that take away from her individualism?
So, I think just
mentally.
Yeah, I think there is a level of, there's a level of yourself that you do lose once you acquire different roles. You know what I mean? And not losing it in a sense of like where there should be some resentment, more than it's almost like you have to break off a piece so that you can add this new hat that you're wearing. So obviously I cannot be single, no children, Darah, and be married with kids. Yeah. Like, I'm going to have to let that stuff go. Yeah. But not in a resentment way. I think, though, that's why it's important that, and that's why, whomever I do end up with has to be somebody who allows for me to be the me that I am. Or not even necessarily allows, but it's kind of like there's something comforting that he's okay with me just soaring the way that I soar. Yeah. And not trying to change me into something or what he wants me to be, more than I just become a part of that. I then start to wear those hats because those are the milestones that I'm, coming into. Yeah. Does that make sense?
No, it does.
Okay.
I think we as men definitely have to, because we are so waffled, and because we change as in we grow, but we don't change.
Right.
We, for the most part, we don't change. And I think that's where we have to be more understanding, that because now you're taking, like you said, you're breaking off a piece and you're taking on a new piece. And so it's like becoming a whole different person. And so now you have to find yourself in that being a wife, in that being a mother. And I heard my cousin say this. She said, I think she kind of felt like she lost herself being a mother and not working and everything. And, she found herself crying to God, like, I don't know who I am, this and that, such and such. And she was like, God convicted her because she had an incident with her children or whatever, where it was like a love. She felt a sense of love that she never felt before. And so she was like, and God had convicted her, and showed her like, she didn't want to be seen in herself as just this person's wife or this person's mother. But in that incident, it made her realize that this is who she is and that she really loves it.
Right.
And she was like, when she felt that love from her children and everything, it was nothing else could compare to that. And she had to be like, God, forgive me, because I do want this.
Yeah.
Like, I do love this. Like, I do need this.
And I think that's important to see. Like, why is it that you feel like you're muted because of the fact that you've added these hats to your individuality?
That might be on us if we didn't provide that space.
But well, that's true. That I do feel like there needs to be a space that's provided. But I think that there's something that we have to ask ourselves: why it feels like we're losing ourselves to gain the motherhood, to gain the wifedom, to gain, you know what I mean, to gain the husband or whatever the case. Why it feels like we lose ourselves in that. And I know that has something to do with us. That's something that we have to take ownership for, because it's almost like you saying like you're not being true to who you are because you have these people who are dependent on you.
Yeah.
But why though? Right? Because every decision, every moment, every day, you get the opportunity to, make things right or do things right or whatever the case.
You can't undo that.
You can't. So that means that there's some resentment there if you feel like you've lost your individuality because you've given your life to your children. There's nothing wrong with having that support and stuff for your children, but that whole martyr, like I tell people, dying or feeling like you no longer matter because your children need to matter, that to me seems like a personal problem. You know what I mean? Like, and then what are you doing for yourself? Because, and we'll talk about the whole, motherhood and
we gotta have a mother chime in on this with us.
Yeah, because I do feel like a lot of people have told me like you're just not going to understand until you have children. But my mom and I have actually had that conversation about her being a vessel, for me to have life, but I am not her life. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I have my own life and she has her own life. She's the reason why I'm here, in the sense that she was the vessel in which my life, came from. Mm-hmm. But I don't believe that my mom feels any resentment towards, guiding me in the way that she did, because she kind of understood. Like there was a level of,
dang.
What?
Have you watched the Bel Air show?
Mm-hmm.
So it's making me think of Aunt Viv, where she was like, she put her art on hold and everything.
Yes.
And Phil said, I never told you to do that.
Yes.
But she's saying
that's a personal. Do you see how that was personal?
Yeah.
Because he even said, like, I loved your work. He was like, I was your biggest fan. And
but
it wasn't even like he told her put it away. But she decided
to support his political career and take care of the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, so then who, I challenge, women, please,
but you see what she said though?
What she
was like, he was like, what could I have done? And she was like, you could have said, keep going, I support you. But that's literally something we do not know that you need that at that time. Like, we don't know what you're going through unless you share these things with us, unless you tell us something. Mm-hmm. Like, women go through stuff, and we can sense it. We know when something's off, and it hurts us.
Yeah.
Maybe it might not seem like it at the time, but it hurts us.
But you don't know what to say.
We don't know what to say. We don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And because I don't know if you're just not communicating it or you can't communicate it. It kind of brings to the relationship. It kind of brings like a gulf in a relationship, and now it's like you're mad at me or you're just not comfortable with me, and it's nothing I could do to to fix this thing.
But I think that's what's so important about, ownership and like being able to see yourself too. Yeah. Because of course it's very easy to blame someone else, but it's very hard to take ownership when you literally have like pissed away 15 years because you wanted, you know what I mean? Or 30 years or whatever, because you wanted to be a really, really good mom. Yeah. And this is not to say that there's anything necessarily wrong with that, but it's the resentment part that I'm talking about.
Right.
I think that good moms are the reason why we're here, right? The reason why you and I even have this podcast. We had this like these strong foundations of good moms, right? Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying is, when it comes down to those individuals who feel like they don't have anything to show for the life that they've led, and then they're blaming it on their husbands or they're blaming it on their kids. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's a you issue, sis. Like, you really got to look into yourself and find out why you would ever blame somebody else for the choices in which you made. Yeah. Because even the choice to have children, now, mind you, there are exceptions to those rules where you don't really have a choice and there's a child that is conceived. But most of us, it's a broken condom, or you know what I mean, a situation where we planned it or whatever, but we knew that we were going to be parents. You know what I mean? So why is it that you feel like, your children are the reason why you haven't been able to enjoy your life?
So what possibly could we do to bring some kind of peace, some kind of consolation to that situation? What possibly could a man do?
I think it's good to do check-ins. I'm a fan of a check-in, like, and this is something that I actually live. Like when I'm in a relationship, I usually ask, like, how do you feel like this is going right now? The thing is, you have to be with somebody who's willing to see what's really happening instead of somebody who sees what they want to happen.
Right.
And that's what I've been experiencing. People seeing what they want to happen and not even really being present in a relationship. How do you think that this is going? And when y'all see that, like, the woman, because, while we aren't as ritualistic and as, routine as you all are, you notice when something is not right with your better half.
Yeah, definitely.
You know it. So then it's like begging the question, because we'll fill in the blanks. We talk. Yeah. That's what we do every day. We use more words than y'all do. So it's like maybe begging the question of, like, honey, what's going on? If she says nothing, then you can leave it alone that day, but you don't have to leave it alone for 15 more years.
But how do we get it out of you?
I think that you have to allow her to arrive at it.
I know how.
What?
You gotta talk to her best friend.
Really? What if she doesn't have any best friends? What if you are her best friend?
Then she should be talking to me.
Agreed. But what if she's, like, completely shut down?
That's what I'm asking you. What can we do?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that you can introduce, there's only so much that you can do. And first of all, you have to pray. That spiritual warfare, like that, it all starts there. It all starts in the spirit, and then it manifests itself in that physical form. But you have to pray about it first. Make sure that you cover her. Make sure that she knows that she is protected. It's really a security thing for us too. Yeah. A lot of times we just feel like we're literally doing this life by ourselves. We could be surrounded by people and still feel like super.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, like the room could be full and we just like feel like one is the loneliest number. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, pray for her, ask her. If she doesn't give you any answers, go to counseling. Like I'm a big advocate for therapy too. Go to therapy with her. Or, ask her if that's what she wants to do. Some people like support groups. Some people just want to be heard. Like sometimes maybe you might catch her on the right day and she might give it all to you.
Give it all to
but
me.
you gotta, yeah.
No, I'm not saying.
No, seriously. But you just gotta, for real, I think that what's important is you just got to want to know what it is by any means. Just know, like, it's not going to be right for you if she's not right.
Yeah, it's not going to be right for you if she's not right.
And vice versa for women, We know when y'all's energy is off. The thing is, though, I think it's a little harder to get it out of y'all. So what would you advise for us to do if something is off with you guys? Like, what would you advise for a woman to do?
There's one way to get anything out of a man.
You think so? Because I feel like that's just in that moment.
That's how you could get whatever you want out of him in that moment.
Got it.
But nah, all jokes aside. All jokes aside, I do believe that a lot of men do withhold from their wives because they don't have like this type of relationship. Mm-hmm. And so it's not even that they can't trust their wife with their vulnerability. It's just that they don't have that relationship.
Right.
So you have a romantic relationship, y'all intimate with each other, but you haven't built that friendship. Mm-hmm. Like it's certain things that I share with you that people that I grew up with don't even know, because their relationship, our relationship just isn't as deep or as strong as the one that me and you have. Mm-hmm. And so I know they could hold water. It's not that I don't trust them, but it's just that I don't even believe that you have what I need in this moment. Mm. So if a man truly believes that you can help him with whatever it is that he's dealing with, he will open up about it.
Wow, that's important.
Yeah.
Listen up, ladies. Like, he feels like you have the solution or you can help him. Like, it's not a gossip thing. Like, it's like he's not just bearing his soul and you're gonna be like, oh, I.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm sorry you feel this way.
Right.
Like, that's not going to do anything for
right.
you.
Or like, yo, you crying again? Like, oh God, here we go, mommy issues.
He never opening up.
Yeah. So we do have to be very, very, on both in both parties. I think we have to be very aware of the reason why somebody wouldn't open up to us too. And sometimes we have to ask ourselves, have we been up until this point? Have we been giving off, that sort of space or creating that space for them to then open up? Because I feel like that's what we were just saying in the beginning. The reason why it was so easy for us to become fast friends like we did is we created a space for one another. So that's important. So first, before you get into a relationship, make sure you can talk, like you can communicate with that person. Because if you don't have communication before y'all even start, the relationship, having sex, whatever the case, like you're not going to be able to build backwards.
And one thing that's paramount in that is, and I learned this from Joaquin a long time ago, he said people make the mistake of trying to work on their relationship when things are going bad.
Yeah.
And the best time to work on a relationship is when things are going good.
Yes.
When things are going good, that's when you can really build that friendship, and that's when you can really build that bridge to where when things are awkward or when things are going bad, that bridge already exists to where even if, whether I believe you can help me or not, I'm still willing to open up to you. Because we already have something here. We already have this soul tie, whatever. I feel like we're one. I feel like I could share these things to you, and it's not just me spewing out to you, but it's like you're helping me bear this burden. You're going to help me carry this weight, and we're going to get through this thing together.
Yes.
So.
Excellent. Also great. Very good. It is. But I think we should cut it off there. I think we got, we basically got to the meat and potatoes of individualism and friendship, and just really like introducing you guys, bringing you guys in. Prayerfully we get this, the fan letters and things like that together, so that you guys can write into us, and also send us any videos, questions that you may have, things that you want us to bring up in the podcast. Again, I'm not the token woman, and this guy here, he cannot speak for every man, but what we can do is give you guys insight on things that we've heard, and just the way that we are in our relationship. So I pray that you have enjoyed the podcast. I've definitely enjoyed talking to my guy here.
Yes.
And y'all be blessed. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.
Deep skydiving.
Yeah.
Love y'all.
Love you.